Well, hello. Welcome back to All Today, and look who's come out of his cave. Setzer's back. How you doing?
It's been a while. It's been a journey.
It's been a
Um,
hot minute.
yeah. I think almost 2 months,
Yeah, it's been a
something
little
like
bit.
that.
Well, welcome back. You've been missed. We reported that a Sony pony broke out of the stables and shot you, and that's why you've been gone.
I got a cool robot arm, just like
Yeah,
my favorite anime, Jet Black.
yeah. So your favorite anime, indeed.
My favorite Netflix series, Jet Black.
Yes, the original Netflix adaptation.
Netflix original, Cowboy Bebop.
And just in case you thought we replaced Cheston with Setzer, Cheston's here too.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey,
I
it's
had to take all the Nintendo stories out of the rundown, but that's okay.
yeah.
I'm just happy to have Setzer
They
back.
needed to go. I'm afraid.
We can't talk about the Switch Pro again.
No, it'd be silly at this point. Just plain silly.
I'm top of the list when the local shop gets some Switch OLEDs in. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're
Only a
finally
few more
caving.
years.
Quite like my Switch OLED, even though the rail on the left-hand side is a little loose.
That's like
I have to
your fourth
decide
or fifth
whether
Switch.
it's worth it to send it back. Third,
Close enough.
yes. But the light has gone to a farm somewhere else.
Nice
So,
farm upstate.
yep. Nice upstate farm where it will be played occasionally, I imagine.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
So, since you're back, Cesar, why don't you get us started with what you've been playing?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I haven't had a lot of time for video games while I was gone. I was mostly away from home and no Switch for me, so no mobile games for me either. But I did have a little time to play some Halo Infinite multiplayer after that drop. The verdict is mixed bag. Overall, I like it, but I think that this game, more than any other in recent memory, kind of illustrate how bargaining focused communities have become in the internet age. By which I mean that this game has one aspect that's almost there, and one aspect that's really bad. Collectively, communities have decided to frame it as the gameplay is untouchably perfect, which is not true, and we'll use that to kind of butter up the devs to get them to loosen up on the monetization, which is catastrophically bad.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it how I see it and say that the gameplay is pretty good. It's not bad, but it does have some issues. Thing is, I'm confident that those issues can be fixed. It's stuff like some of the guns just don't feel great. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're just a little undertuned. Vehicle steering just doesn't feel quite there. Even the agile vehicles just feel really kind of like slow, or kind of chunky, I guess. The maps, the 4v4 maps are good. The big team battle maps are pretty bad. The modes are mostly pretty good, but you don't really have the freedom to play like the mode you want to play when you want to play it, which really sucks.
Well, yeah, because like if I want to play like Capture the Flag or something, that's what I want to play.
Yeah, you don't want to play Slayer. And conversely, you can't just play Slayer if that's what you're in the mood for. You have to roll the dice, and maybe you're gonna have to play oddball. Yeah, I mean, overall, those are pretty small complaints, and I'm pretty dang happy with the gameplay.
Well, I'm glad that the gameplay at least hits it. That's the most important part. That means it's salvageable.
Yeah. I think that there's nothing so wrong with the gameplay that it can't be tuned and fixed to a near perfect state. Because everything else, moving, shooting the guns, that feels good. Collision detection being off is super questionable. I
Yes.
really don't get that. No friendly fire. That's kind of messed up how grenades are used.
I'm not going to complain about no friendly fire. That was one of the most frustrating things about 360 era is like getting that douchebag on your team that thinks it's funny to team kill.
See, now because there's no friendly fire, people just spam grenades in every situation.
Even if you're like one person in a room full of your buddies, you can just throw a grenade and not have to worry about killing your buddies.
Right. Yeah.
Which, yeah, okay. I can see where that would be a problem.
Yeah. Or if you're in a team fight and your ally is closer to your enemy than you are, your first instinct is to throw a grenade because your buddy isn't going to get hurt by it. So in modes that have a lot to do with positioning, like capture the flag or oddball or total control, it's like as soon as the match starts, the objective is just covered in 16 grenades. And you know, it's like you have to like wait for everybody to exhaust their grenades and then you can play the match. Yeah, melee hit detection is way off base in this game. Like some of the worst hit detection I've seen. Worse than Destiny.
So like too sensitive, not sensitive enough.
So this game, like a lot of
Just
modern
wonky.
shooters, when you hit the melee button and you're within a certain distance of your target, your character will lunge forward and punch.
Okay.
And that's not bad, you know, necessarily. But a lot of times in Infinite, you'll lunge forward, you'll pass through your enemy, and then he will like lunge forward at you, but it will spin him around 180 degrees and he'll smack you in the back and kill you. Yeah, so it's just off, you know, it's just funky. You know, that's like the biggest technical hurdle, I think, is figuring out collision and melee and the interaction thereof. But overall, you know, I would say this gameplay is 8 out of 10, which is a high score from me.
Like a 12 on the IGN scale.
Something
Maybe
like
even a
that.
20. The yang to the yin, though, the topic on everybody's lips is progression, monetization, the battle pass, the shop, and those things are all tied together in Halo Infinite. Put it in a nutshell, you have a battle pass. It's 100 levels. Each level is 1,000 experience points. Most levels give you something for free and something you only get if you pay $10 for the paid battle pass. And
Ooh.
the way you get the experience points for this is you get 50 for every match you play, and then 200 to I think 350 for every challenge you do, and you have something like 12 challenges per week. You get about 5 levels of experience solely through challenges, and then the rest is up to you to get to grind out 20 matches per level. So for reference, I've played 18 hours of multiplayer and I am level 8.
Ooh, that's not very high for how long you've played.
No.
Of 100?
Yeah, 8 out of 100.
How long is the season?
6 months.
That still seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a question of whether
I'm
you can
lucky to play a
complete.
game for 18 hours, period.
Yeah, it's not a question of whether or not you can complete the season pass within 18 months. That's totally irrelevant. That's one of the biggest canards people have been obsessing over. It's how many hours it's going to take an average player to complete this pass. How many hours are they going to have to sit in their chair and play Halo?
Like, yeah, 18's no small chunk of change. That you should
Yeah.
be, I would say, at least in the 20s at this stage.
That would take me like 3 months.
Yeah.
The way I play.
Yeah.
So, ooh.
And the problem with this is the challenges are so incredibly difficult. Well, some of them are. Some of them are just straightforward stuff, like play 2 matches of big team battle. No problem. I love big team battle. Some of them are use a gun you don't like and get like 25 kills with it, which really sucks because you don't like the gun, and that gun only spawns on certain maps, certain modes, certain weapon spawners. You have to make sure you're the one who gets it, not another player in the match, and then you have to get kills with it. And that really sucks. Some of them are. So there's a new category of weapons called shock weapons. And when you hit a guy with these, they like chain lightning to other enemies. But the chain lightning does very little damage. And it'll be like get 3 kills, not with the gun, but with the chain lightning effect. And that is almost impossible to line up. And so I spent probably at least 8 hours, and I do not have a single chain lightning kill. One of my
Oof.
buddies, so he's played 35 hours. He hasn't gotten a single chain lightning kill.
Man.
Yeah.
Seems kind of poorly thought out.
Or brilliantly thought out.
Yeah, Well, we'll get to why it's brilliant in a moment. The problem with this is, would you tell a guy that his objective is to get shotgun kills, for example, and you put him in a match of capture the flag? Do you think he's going to play capture the flag, or is he going to do his best to make the match into Shotgun Slayer? Right?
Shotgun Slayer.
Yeah. There are people who will evaluate the match they're put in, and they're going to say, okay, I can't do my challenges because of the mode or because this vehicle doesn't spawn, and so I'm just going to leave and roll the dice in matchmaking again and try to get the match that I want to play. That's the other thing. There's challenges like kill 5 people with this specific vehicle. Okay, the Scorpion tank, the iconic Scorpion tank of Halo, right?
Yes.
I have seen that tank spawn once in 20 hours of playing.
Wow.
I've seen it spawn one time.
Very rare.
Yeah, and it was blown up almost instantly. So nobody got to get their Scorpion tank kills. Even if you don't care about the cosmetics in the battle pass, your matches are still getting messed up because people want to play for challenge objectives instead of game objectives, and they'll just straight up leave to play other matches.
You know what it reminds me of when I read all of this?
Hmm.
Way back when Team Fortress 2 pre-hats. This is OG, like you had to pay to play Team Fortress 2.
When it was good, yes.
Yes. And they started to introduce the character packs, which would give each character type 3 new items. And you had to complete specific achievements with those characters. Like it was a certain number of achievements to get those items. But on the PC, because Team Fortress 2 had dedicated servers, those people who had ruined the game for everybody else by achievement hunting just made their own servers where they could farm those achievements,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of us could play in peace.
I remember
Mhm.
doing that. I remember
And-
going to those servers specifically to get pyro achievements.
Because you get your items, and then you could go back to the regular game.
Yep.
And that is a solution that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, not in a match-made modern game.
I don't know. Like I feel like they should have like a quick play, no battle pass option or something like that, so people that just want to play can play.
Well, I mean, that's going to kill their... I mean, then why even... Then they would be like, wait a minute, why did we make this game free?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Now the hook is gone.
That's the other thing. The challenges tie into monetization. So if you don't pay for the $10 battle pass, you can have 3 active challenges. If you pay for the battle pass, you can have 4 active challenges.
Wait, you have to activate them first? Like you have to queue up a loadout of challenges?
Well, we'll get to it. So look at it like this, from the top down. Each player gets, I think it's like 12 random challenges each week, and you randomly get 3 at a time. You have 3 slots that are randomly filled from your list of 25 challenges that week. And if you pay for the battle pass, you get a 4th random weekly challenge slot that can be active at any time. If you get your shock rifle kill or your shock chain kill, and you don't have the shock chain challenge active in a slot, doesn't count. You gotta wait for it to randomly rotate into your active challenge slot. And this is monetized because they sell challenge re-rolls. Yeah, so you can re-roll which challenge out of your weekly list is occupying your slot at that time.
I don't know about you boys, but my boner is gone.
The challenges are totally random too. The weekly list is random. So I got the shock chain kills, 3 shock chain kills challenge.
Mhm.
My buddy, he never got that challenge, so he didn't have to spend any re-rolls. He got easy challenges and completed all of his weekly challenges. And the reason they incentivize you to re-roll is not only you want to get your XP so you can progress through the battle pass, every single week has a special cosmetic item that you can only unlock if you complete every single challenge that week and then play an additional 15 games.
This sounds like bullshit to me.
Yeah, so they hold it over your head.
Really wearing me down here.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Oh, we're not even halfway through.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, so they hold it over your head, and they encourage you to pay for these challenge re-rolls in case you randomly get assigned a really just borderline impossible challenge. Then they sell you XP boosters, so you can double the experience you get from each challenge, but you have to complete that challenge within 1 hour of activating the booster.
Oh,
So if you have a really niche challenge, you want to re-roll it before you activate the booster so that you can actually finish the challenges within 1 hour, which is not guaranteed with these niche challenges. And then they sell you Battle Pass level skips, and it's $135 to like completely skip the pass. So you buy the pass for 10, you skip each level for like a little over $1, and then not all the cosmetics are included in the battle pass. So if you want to paint your guy white, that's $20 for white paint.
wow.
Some expensive white
This
paint.
thing is
Yeah.
monetized out the wazoo.
Yeah, and the white paint doesn't apply to just any armor. There are different armor sets called armor cores. The white paint.
Oh, you're just making this up.
No, the white paint only applies to a specific armor core. So if you want white Halo Infinite armor, $20. If you want white Halo Reach armor, that's not in the store yet. So there's no option for that.
Oh boy, it sounds like when WoW was taking around with transmog, where it's like strangely limited in some areas.
Mhm.
It seems like something that should be way more fleshed out for how old this kind of idea is.
And we're not done yet. Let's say you want a knife on your armor. Okay, that's $5. You want an emblem? $5. You want a helmet? $10.
They want your money.
When you say emblem, you mean the things like.
That just
Wait,
shows
what
up
do you mean
next to your
helmet?
name.
Like wearing a helmet?
Different
You mean it costs money to wear a helmet?
different helmet styles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
come on.
These emblems are the same ones that you used to be able to customize for free, right?
Right.
Like in 2 and 3.
Right.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Just trying to clarify.
Yeah. Yeah. Not anymore.
For anybody at home who doesn't think this is a giant pile of bullshit.
The free to play
I just thought
market
I'd-
has ruined video games. I tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so you've made up your mind. You want to buy the $20 white paint for one suit of armor. That white paint may not be on the store right now. You have to buy it when it's available on the store. It rotates out. So every week they've got different items in the store. So what you want may not be available to buy right now. Get it while you can.
Oh, so they're encouraging impulse buying.
Yeah. So you see now how it all comes together. They're getting you from every possible angle. The battle pass. Most levels in the battle pass don't even have anything for free. And what they do give you for free, 80% of the free items are just challenge rerolls. And they give you those challenge rerolls because they give you a random list of challenges, which may not be effectively impossible to complete. And they do that so that they can sell you those. And then, your armor only applies to a certain core, and you have to pay for that each and every time you want it. And this goes for weapons and vehicles too. Like, they let you put paint on your weapons and vehicles now. So let's say you want everything to be red. Well, you can buy the red sniper rifle paint, but that doesn't apply to the assault rifle. You have to buy that separately. It doesn't apply to the warthog or the ghost. You have to buy warthog paint. You have to buy ghost paint. And it's such a nightmare. It's such a nightmare.
To me, this whole paying $60 for the campaign seems vastly overpriced because the multiplayer is free, and I can't
Yeah.
imagine the campaign being more than like 20 hours. So
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, if you're not getting, like, I don't know, a bunch of perks on top of buying the campaign, why would you spend $60, you know?
Plus, Scuttlebutt is, Halo Infinite is supposed to be infinite. It's the Halo game for the next 10 years.
Destiny.
So that means single player campaign DLC. And allegedly, the launch Halo Infinite single player campaign ends on a cliffhanger to get you to buy the DLC that isn't even out yet.
Oh, I hope that's not true.
This game, they tell you it's free, but if you want the same level of customization you got for free with other games, you're going to have to pay hundreds of dollars. Just there's no way around it. And even if you don't care about cosmetics, the method they've chosen to manipulate people with the cosmetics will affect your match quality. Playing well in a match, getting a good match score isn't incentivized. It's disincentivized, if anything, So it's just, there hasn't been a good Halo game in over a decade now. And, they go to such lengths to tell you how great the gameplay is. And it is good, don't get me wrong, but everything surrounding that gameplay is a mess. It's a sloppy mess. It's like doing a triple backflip on stage and then announcing to the crowd, and for my next trick, I'm gonna pull out a gun and blow my own foot off. It's just maddening. It's just maddening to see this franchise still struggling.
I have heard a lot of people complain about the progression and stuff, so I hope
Yeah.
they take this complaints to heart and change things, because as you said, like if the gameplay itself is good, the game itself is fixable then.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they dial it down a little bit, because oftentimes I find like these things launch terribly and people bitch, and then they're like, all right, well, we got our money up front, let's back down a little bit. So maybe in a couple of months it'll be a little more ideal.
The studio designers are saying, oh, we're listening to the feedback, we're going to make changes. And they did make changes within the first 3 days. What I described to you is the post-change version with the
Yes.
50 XP per match. It used to be you got 100 XP, but after a scaling number of matches. So your first couple of matches, 100 XP per match, then 100 XP for 2 matches, 100 XP for 3 matches, and so forth. Someone, I think on the Halo Reddit, did the math, and you have to play 30 matches per day to get more XP out of the new system. So it's just they made it worse. They didn't do the math. They didn't bother to think about it. They made a change that idiots on Twitter will say, "Oh my God, this is so awesome! Thank you," and it made it, mathematically made it worse.
Maybe as the casuals drop off and the hardcore stick around, they'll see what's actually wrong. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. But as like one of the only people alive that hasn't tried Halo yet, I will give it a shot here eventually.
I haven't tried it either, but while you were talking about how terrible it was, I clicked the download button on my Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend give it a go, try it out, play it. It is a fun game. But if you're the kind of person who's interested in cosmetic customization, you are SOL. And if you aren't, well, the people around you who are going to ruin your match experience. So
They
good
already
luck.
have. They've ruined everything else about games. Why stop
They
now?
have.
Yeah.
Thanks, Horse Armor. This is all your fault.
Thanks, Todd.
Todd ruined it again. Cheston, why don't you get into what you've been up to?
Well, I'll give you some quick hits, because I mostly have dibbled and dabbled this week. As is the tradition. Still playing the Obra Dinn. Don't have much to say, except for I've got to the point where I'm through all of the vignettes, and now I'm just kind of having to play detective, which I find to be pretty fun. I had to use a Google spreadsheet the other day and use a formula and do some kind of crazy stuff there to help myself through the puzzle of the game story, which is something I like, but maybe not to everybody's taste. Still really love that game. That's what I've played most. Nothing new there, really. Now I'll go some real quick hits, because the rest of this I haven't played much of. Because Obra Dinn was my big one. This one is Unpacking. This is a indie game on Game Pass that I tried on a whim because I saw someone else on my friends list was playing it, and I was bored and really sick last week, so I
We
thought,
wanted to
why
unpack
not?
some things.
Yes, and that is literally what you do. I do think, unpack like boxes. Like, it is
You're not unpacking
a
like
moving.
something to talk about, like a political point. Let's unpack this.
No. It is unpacking, physically unpacking. The game is about a individual who you don't see, who is moving throughout their life, and you unpack the boxes, and that's the gist of it. So it's basically like you're seeing this person's life play out through their moves. So the first move is their childhood room, and so you're unpacking stuff like board games and toys, and I mean, I guess it's really not that dissimilar to me unpacking, to be honest, but it's got some more stuffed animals than I have, for sure.
Fewer amiibos, I take it.
Yes, of course. You're unpacking their backpack and their coloring supplies and all that stuff. And then you get to their college room, and you're unpacking basic college stuff. And I think where the game is interesting is that the way it tells its story is through what you unpack. So, you unpack some of the same things you unpacked when you were a child, so you can see the things that were sentimental to your player character. Like, you can tell that through what's moving. I think my personal favorite thing is just the little touches. Like, sometimes when you're moving, you'll open a box and you'll be like, how the hell did this end up in here? Like, you'll have a box that's in the kitchen, and then you'll be like, oh shit, there's a boot in here. Like, why did I put that in the kitchen box? But, you know, if you've ever moved, you know that feeling of just like, God, I've got this one weird item. I've packed up all the boxes that go with this specific subset of things I have. So I guess I'll just throw it in with this stuff and figure it out later.
Mm-hmm.
So you do get some of that. And, you know, there's really not much more to the game. I probably won't play more. I mean, it's pretty nice. It's low-key. I would say it's good if you're just wanting to hang out and chill and listen to music or a podcast or something. But I think, you know, for what it is, nice little thing. Don't know how much it costs in real money. As a Game Pass game, I recommend it on the PC. I played it on Xbox, and I don't recommend that. Very much a cursor game. So be warned.
It seems like a interesting way of storytelling.
Yes, that's what I liked. I mean, is it a AAA like amazing game? No, but it's nice.
Sounds like hipster bullshit, but it sounds like something I'd be okay with.
I think it's a little better than like the traditional like.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's just, you know.
I know. I'm thinking of games like, you know, those games that are like House Flipper and stuff like that, where it takes really menial tasks and that's all it is. Like, I think this is a grade above that because this has actual like storytelling.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
it seems interesting.
They're going for something, and the sound design is really good. You know, you really feel those boxes. They are prolific packers, though. I will say they really do pack everything really nice and tight.
Like Mom and Dad,
and it is impressive as someone who does not do that. Usually, I start really strong, and then by the end of it, I'm just like, I'm just so tired.
Well, this box could be filled a bit more, but fuck it, I'm done.
It is a little stressful for me, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw people say this game is relaxing, and I can see how it might be for some people. But as someone who's really anal about where things go, like, part of this game is that you unpack things and then place them. And so sometimes it's like real life. It's like, well, where the hell do I put this? I've got, like, you know, I think for me, the thing that broke me was there's an MP3 player. I was like, okay, so I'll put this on the bedside table. Well, then I had, like, a clock and some other stuff I really need to put on the bedside table. And suddenly that bedside table was really packed, and I was having to, like, move the MP3 player onto the bed so that I could move something else on there for the time being. And that did stress me out a little bit, which I'm not going to lie is probably part of the reason I won't play it again, because it did start to annoy me. Just the act of, like, oh god, this person needs to buy a bigger apartment for all the stuff they packed. Like, it's freaking college kids, I tell you. But that's unpacking. Now for the non-indie front. I've played 2 hours of the new Pokemon remakes.
Mm-hmm.
The Brilliant Diamond is the one I got because it has the legendary dogs from Gold and Silver as its exclusive legendaries, and I think those are way cooler than the birds, which Pearl gets. Just IMO.
I agree with that.
I'd like to interject for a moment.
Yes.
So you said you bought Brilliant Diamond?
I sure did.
You bought both games because there is a way, apparently, to flip a certain flag in the game and play the other one. So,
Really?
For real?
Yeah. Both games are.
Let's look that up.
Yeah, it's the same ROM. You know, it's the same game. You just flip a bit, and that determines whether you're playing Diamond or Pearl. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's how I assumed it always used to be. So,
Yeah, I assume that's always how those games were, but it's nice to have that confirmed.
Yeah.
Thanks. So that's kind of the interesting thing is that this game isn't developed by Game Freak.
so it's good.
Well, you know.
Well,
okay. Okay, so I'm not like a fan. We talked about Pokemon Sword and Shield last year when I played through that game finally, and I'm just generally not a fan of the series post DS. Like Black and White is the last one I really, really liked. I liked Let's Go okay, just because it was different. But everything else I could do without. So this game is interesting because unlike every other remake they've ever done, this remake is pretty darn faithful. Like, it doesn't try to remake itself in the new engine. It took the existing game and it gave it a new art direction, which is divisive. I will say I like it okay. I think people are too quick because of mobile games being shitty to dismiss anything with the chibi art style.
Mhm.
I do think for Pokemon, it makes some amount of sense given how those old games used to look.
Mhm.
So I'm whatever on it. I think it looks fine. I think the Pokemon monsters look great. I do like those 3D models. And it certainly looks better than Sword and Shield, I might add.
What an accomplishment.
No, yes, I know what an accomplishment. I will say, I like a lot of things about this game. I liked Diamond and Pearl pretty well when I was a kid. They were the first games to take the series online, which I care a lot less about now than I did then. But I do like a lot of the other back to basic things, because this is such a traditional remake that it's barely even a remake. I like little things like the day and night cycle. You remember
I
those?
do.
Like the authentic one? Yeah, they're back, because Sword and Shield was just like based on the story. It would be day or night based on what was happening in the game. And that was stupid. So this has like actual day night cycle, which means, certain Pokemon appear at night, certain Pokemon appear during the day, which I like. I know it's not super convenient. I know that's why they've changed it since then, but I don't care. So whatever.
I also like that. So,
Yeah. I think it's nice when the game, the time of day changes. So when you're playing at night, you get a slightly different experience. Gives the possibility of evolving an Umbreon and Espeon, brings it back into the fold the way it should be. I like to keep it traditional like that.
Mhm.
I really don't have any complaints. I think the big complaint like people have, it's not developed by Game Freak. It's a new developer, I think, named Ilka. They have a terrible name. Something like that. And it's developed in a different engine than Pokemon is usually. It's developed in Unity. I've seen some people complain about some technical issues. I have not experienced any, so I'm lucky, I suppose. And a lot of people have complained about the experience point share, which I think we've pretty soundly came out in favor of, at least Derek and I.
I also agree.
You also agree?
I do.
Good, because the only argument I ever see is that the game is harder without the experience
I've
share.
heard they nerfed
which
it a
is-
little bit in this.
I don't think so. It feels the same to me.
My wife says that the party Pokemon get way less than the leader.
Well, that could be true. I guess I don't really pay that much attention to the numbers. I just see them go up, and I feel okay.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But I know that people are like, oh, the game's too easy with experience share. My contention has always been that when it was without experience share, you were doing stupid, boring things like either playing the game with all one monster, because that was the optimal way to play those games, no matter what people try to tell you,
Mhm.
is that the definitive strategy was to make your starter as powerful as possible and blow through the game, which is what I did as a 8-year-old child.
Mhm.
So it wasn't that difficult.
Well, and like here's the
Um,
deal. Like, I think probably the most hardcore JRPG out there, Shin Megami Tensei, the newest game has like EXP share for your entire party.
yeah,
So
because otherwise it's just tedious.
so even
Like,
if that can
the
have it, Pokemon can have it.
yeah, so like I have I caught an Abra. Now, what a pain in the ass Abra used to be back in the day to level up,
And the
because
craft
Abra has
gift.
no moves by default. So you'd have to catch it, and then, which is already a pain, and then you take it into battle, and then you'd have to swap it out to your actual good Pokemon, and you'd get a modicum of experience every time. You could spend like hours trying to get your thing up to pace with the rest of your party. Both experience share, you can have pretty much any Pokemon party ready relatively quickly. Like I caught a Cricketot last night before I fought the first gym leader, and I was able to take it through the gym and level it up to the point that it evolved just by having it in my party, whereas before I would have had to like deliberately devote time to it. Time which I don't have. So I really appreciate the experience share, and I think anybody who says that it's too easy needs to adjust their playstyle. I think you grind too much. Like I think if you grind even an adequate amount, like I didn't grind, but I spent time like exploring and catching Pokemon. I was still at the same level as the gym leader when I first fought him. So if you are like way above it because of experience share, I think you are just grinding and making it easy for yourself. And, let's not mince words. Pokemon fans are idiots, so whatever.
They are.
That's all I have to say about that.
I mean, the fact that Pokemon fans were complaining that Game Freak wasn't making this one shows that they're kind of stupid.
Makes no sense because they've always complained that Game Freak does make the games.
Right.
Which is a valid complaint, I will say. Anyways, that's Pokemon. I like it.
Yeah, I bought the double pack myself. One for
Oh,
me,
did
one
you?
for
Because you and your wife played,
yeah.
right?
So my one complaint is that the double pack, you'd think they like discount it, maybe like $10 for both of them.
No, it's
Oh,
120.
120. the,
Yep.
the only bonus they give you is you get 200 Pokeballs.
Well, and you get a big
You get a
box.
big box. But I was thinking like
Big box to show you, so everybody knows what an idiot
I'm
you are.
also in the Best Buy of my credit card out, like thinking I'm like a hot shot, gonna buy my wife and me this game. It's like, oh, it costs as much as buying them separately. What's the point of the twin pack? So I
Somebody's
kind of wish,
spoiled.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
the cashier said to me. It's like someone's spoiled. Like, well, geez.
Did they really say
No,
that?
no. That's call
Okay.
back to the PlayStation 5, my friend.
Well, I knew that's what it was, but I was like, God, did you get that again?
Imagine. No. Yeah, I kind of think Nintendo ought to, but they should discount the twin pack. Like $10 or something.
It's not the most successful franchise in the world by making a discount on the double pack, Derek.
Fair point.
Lastly, Forza. I have very few notes on this because I've only played like an hour. And the only note I have is the cars go a vroom,
Yes.
which is about as much as I feel qualified to say about
Yeah,
it
same.
because I know nothing about cars or racing games.
I played that too. That's what I said too. Cars go vroom.
But I think it looks nice.
Beautiful,
and
except for the humans.
I think whoever made this game has had sex with a car. For me, it was like, well, I'm going to pick a Toyota. It seems like a dependable car. And so then when I picked it, it's like just that scene of like jerk off while they watch it.
What
It's
I
like,
hated
come on,
is every
just get to the
single
drive.
bit of dialogue in the game or
Oh
story.
yes, I play the game on mute.
It's
pretty
so
much.
stupid.
I thought the opening was really awesome. Other than that, like the opening where you're like doing all these different like drags through different parts of Mexico. It's like, oh, this is really cool. And then I saw like the captions at the bottom of my screen. It's like, boy, am I glad I'm on mute, so I don't have to hear any of this nonsense. But it's a nice. I mean, it plays really great.
Yeah.
So I can see why people like it. I don't know that I'll play much, but as a thing that I can play because I have Game Pass and is probably the only showcase for this fancy piece of hardware I've purchased. Like on that front, it's pretty successful.
Humans should not look as bad as they do. If they're going to include humans in the game, they should work on them.
I think they should just get rid of the humans altogether.
I agree, because that shit sucks.
Post-apocalyptic car hellscape.
It should be cars like Disney cars, but with real cars.
Yeah, it should be. It actually is a lot like the Cars video game.
Yeah.
Just if anybody was curious, it is a lot like that because that was an open, free roaming game where you like raced around to different objectives, and so is this.
But I mean, my point though is like you have like everything in the game looks so amazing, but then like whatever reason they have like cutscenes of humans in them, and it's like, did you even try?
Well, you got to see your person on stage being like a cool bro, like, "Wow, man, look at me! I just won the race."
All the hairstyle options are douchey bro hairstyles. So
thankfully, as a bald person, I was able to choose bald.
But but it's like it looks like they yanked like PS2 models and put them in a like next gen game. Like they're brutally bad.
It doesn't look great, but the cars
are amazing. Oof. Everything about the game looks amazing, but it's like so jarring. It's like, what the hell?
Dim vistas, let me tell you, those are some solid looking skies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I had fun with it, but it's one of those things like I would never have played this game if I didn't have Game Pass.
When it was like nighttime, like that was so good. Like the nighttime effects of having the car with the headlights on and man, they really did these car fuckers, they know what they're doing.
Them cars.
They do. I bet they do. All over the place.
Well, that's the perk of doing it with a car.
Do you think a parking lot is like is the parking lot like a brothel for them?
I would think so.
Like a new car lot, not a used car lot. A used car lot is like
that's sketchy.
That's like going to a.
That's like going to like a like you're driving in Reno and you see like a paper sign that says brothel this way. I'm like okay, I guess I'll go there.
Ooh,
like
yeah, no, but a new car lot,
that's where the money is.
Big trucks, daddy fucks.
That's right. That is the motto of the game. Very strange they went with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I haven't seen a truck in the game.
I can't believe the marketing department approved it.
I know. You'd figure HR would be more on top of it. All right, well, I'll get through my stuff relatively quickly here. So for me, I'll start with my N64 of the week. I finished Dr. Mario, which sucks.
When do you say it sucks?
It's just not fun. I don't like Dr. Mario.
Okay. Yes, I'm not a big Dr. Mario fan either.
I'm sure it's fine. It's just, I don't know. The way the puzzles work, it's like Puyo Puyo, except like they have like pieces already set for you when you start. So it's just, I don't know, slightly obnoxious. I prefer like being in charge of my own destiny entirely instead of like random layouts and stuff. But I don't know. It's not for me. If I was gonna do a puzzle game, Pokemon Puzzle League maybe instead of Dr. Mario, but I'm not Nintendo.
We'll continue to beat that drum every
Yes.
week until they listen to us.
Or I would have just said no puzzle game. I don't see the point. I don't see the necessity for one. But
Well, we're not big puzzle game people, so we're not the people to ask.
I also played Winback, which is interesting. I recognize it as an important video game because like I could see where it inspired cover shooters. This game I had never heard of until it was announced for Nintendo on Switch Online. But
It was the original cover shooter.
it plays like something that would be fine if it was like an hour long, but I looked it up and it's like 16 hours and it's got like the worst aiming system of all time because it's supposed to be played with an N64 controller. So I just, if you're not like auto aiming and shooting things immediately, it's very frustratingly like annoying. So it's not something I plan on sticking with.
Feels like the kind of game your parents would rent for you if they went to Blockbuster without you.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I'm glad they included it because it is an important game since it inspired cover shooters. But I think this will make me give up my pact to beat every N64 on demand game.
Yep, and I think you're a coward. So
yep,
it's all good.
but I mean, it depends. Like if I get bored, I might go back to it and keep punching through
well,
it. But
we were already talking about how if Quest 64 ever came out, you would have to redact your challenge anyways, and you'd make up some excuse.
Yeah, so I'll just get the excuses out of the way early.
That's right.
But we'll see. I'm not totally sold on being done, but I'm actually thinking of jumping away from the N64 for a little bit for my nighttime stuff because I hacked my Vita and I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which is a perfect bedtime game.
Which I'll point out never came out on the Vita.
Didn't, but boy, does it look great on a Vita screen. Oh, that Vita screen is perfect for Game Boy Advance. I'm going to have to.
You have not sent me pictures. Yes.
This is like the ideal way to play Game Boy Advance games.
Play Zero Mission. I bet that'll look really good.
Well, I've already played Zero Mission this year. I would play Fusion.
You did?
Yeah. That was.
When did you play Zero Mission?
I sent you a text of my victory screen.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes,
so Fusion would be the one I played, and I do have that downloaded. So that's that part of it. For real games I've been playing, my main event, so to speak. I had to put Super Robot Wars down because Shin Megami Tensei V came out, and that game is amazing. It is pretty much everything I wanted out of a new Shin Megami Tensei. It's if you remember what I said about Nocturne, where it's like you're actually playing a game instead of like just a long story with battles. That's kind of like that. Again, the environments are more open than in past games.
Can I call you out for saying that this is everything you ever wanted from a Shin Megami Tensei game because you've only ever played one? Am I allowed to call you out for that?
I've played multiple. What are you talking about? I played Nocturne and I played 4 and 4 Apocalypse.
When did you play 4?
I bought it on launch.
I want the receipts.
I went to Best Buy on launch day and bought it.
I don't remember this. What system was it on?
DS.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I
don't know. It's
I haven't played 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like Persona.
You call yourself a real
people
fan.
have only played 3 through 5 and haven't played 1 and 2. I wanted more Nocturne, and this is that, but better. So I don't want to get into too many specifics because I'm still working my through. I'm pretty far in. I think my playtime's over like 36 hours or so. But I want to see how it goes before I get too far into talking about it. But
would I be wrong in saying that it looks good for a Switch game?
It looks great for a Switch game. It's got great hair physics.
I've seen the pictures. The pictures I've seen, I've been like, oh, that looks pretty good for a Switch game.
Well, it does a good Switch. Like when you're making a Switch game look good, they do what's right, as in they make it look kind of cartoony in places. Like the art style is not terribly realistic. So that's kind of how you make a good looking Switch game. You don't go for graphic, you go for artistic style. The hair physics are great. I don't know, like your character has really long hair and it flurls around when you run, and you Naruto run everywhere. So it's always flowing around. It looks really cool. It's an art. It's one of these games. You negotiate with demons. You get them to join your party. You have a party of 4, and you fuse and you dungeon crawl. That's the game. If you're looking for a deep Persona-like story with lots of character interactions and stuff, look elsewhere. This is.
I heard Persona without the heart.
Yes, that
is the phrase that sent the internet.
That makes people mad, and I actually don't mind people using those comparisons because they're series that play alike, and more people know what Persona is than Shin Megami Tensei. I'm sorry to say, people, they do. So if you're going to compare it to a series, that's what you do. But it's just not the same kind of thing. There is a story, and I think the story is much more out there than Nocturne. Like they actually like have multiple cutscenes, and you're not filling the details yourself, I should say. But if you're looking for Persona, you're not going to like it. I'm a big fan. I'll just say that, and I look forward to finishing it and talking about it more next week. Since I bought the double pack Pokemon's after that. So right now, I'm just grateful that FF14 got delayed for 2 weeks.
You can help me evolve my Kadabra.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
But yeah, if FF14 was not delayed, I'd be in quite the pickle because I want to play that when it launches, get the launch experience, all the
As do
fill
I.
lines and all that junk. That's part of the MMO,
Mhm.
So I've never experienced that with FF14, and I wanna do it. So, so thank you for delaying, so I can finish this and play Pokemon and have time. So thank you.
Thank you, Yoshi P. There's no need to cry on screen.
I know everyone else complained about it because people took PTO time for this, but for me, worked out pretty well. It's out of the way, let's get on to the news.
Well, first things first this week, Steven Totillo writes for Axios that Xbox chief Phil Spencer is wary of, quote, exploitive NFT gaming projects.
Glad someone said it.
Yeah, ironically, comes the same week that one of the most exploitatively monetized games ever released also dropped, Halo Infinite. So he's apparently not that concerned, but Phil Spencer had this to say. What I'd say today on NFT All Up is I think there's a lot of speculation and experimentation that's happening, and that some of the creative that I see today feels more exploitive than about entertainment. He's
Yeah.
not wrong there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, Phil is
It
correct.
was nice to
Yeah.
see a console head say this after like Square Enix and EA and Ubisoft, your dangerous triad there, all said they were thinking about NFT crap. So Phil Spencer being like, no, is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I understand, like, there's Halo Infinite has got some problems with monetization, but it is a different kind of problem. This is a problem that's kind of an industry-wide thing. This where NFTs is like, let's stop this before it goes anywhere, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm way supportive of Phil on this one.
I'm 100% in agreement. I understand how NFTs work. I'm still baffled by the pricing bubble, and I'm still baffled by how you could possibly integrate this into a game in a way that does not make that game worse. So,
No, it seems impossible to me.
as Phil Spencer does say, quote, I just think we're kind of in the journey of people figuring it out. So, yeah, I mean, maybe someday we'll see something really cool, but I don't see that anytime soon.
Maybe they'll make a Monkey Yacht Club game exclusive to
Yeah,
people that got those crappy monkey avatars.
yeah. I mean,
And
it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think if you're interested in NFTs, then you're probably not interested in making something fun.
probably not.
Yes, I would agree. I would say that fun is not your number one concern
Right.
in life.
Right.
Well, except for the fun of finding profit.
I don't know. The fact that those monkeys sell so much, it makes me think like maybe I could like get into drawing and make some NFTs.
Well, part of it is it's kind of like that the Firefest thing, because
You get an experience.
if you get one of those monkey things, you get access to like these special events.
Right.
A lot of it is those kind of what to call them, douches.
Yes.
Who are like, oh, bro, got to get it on this hot yacht party. Let's get our monkey NFTs and get lit.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but what about like the lions? Like you don't get anything for those. They'll still look like shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they have their own lazy lion club.
So
Mhm.
like I could make a bunch of like shitty stick figures and sell them. Maybe figure out how it works.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Why not?
I continue to be baffled by how someone can pay money for essentially nothing and then pretend that makes them some kind of
A genius.
Wall Street wolf.
And you're
or
an
something.
idiot if you don't understand.
I do
Yeah.
like that when people like make a point of copying their picture, they get all pissy about it.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Oh yes, that is great. It is an awesome call and response.
Yeah. What I love is, no, you don't understand how just saving the image isn't the same.
Now go try to sell this at an auction. Like, well, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's like I have no intention of, paying for it because I get the same amount of enjoyment for free.
Right.
They cannot comprehend that anybody would ever do anything that isn't strictly motivated by money.
Yeah.
It is beyond their understanding of reality. Because they are crazy, stupid Silicon Valley business people.
Or,
And
people completely brainwashed by such.
yes.
Well, there's a reason Mr. Reddit incarnate Elon Musk is so popular. People buy what he's selling for some reason.
Next on the docket, Phil Spencer also had some things to say about game preservation to Stephen Totillo of Axios once again. Phil says, quote, "My hope, and I think I have to present it that way as of now, is as an industry we work on legal emulation that allowed modern hardware to run any, within reason, older executable, allowing someone to play any game." I think that this is a crazy, crazy insightful perspective from a corporate executive.
There's a reason why I kind of side with Microsoft over Sony these days. Because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
their vision is so much more consumer friendly. They got smacked around a bit because it wasn't, but
Mhm.
right now it's like that's exactly what it should be. Like,
The cruel, cruel irony that the company that has the least lucrative back catalog
I
does the
know it's
most to preserve
bullshit,
it.
but
Curse you, God.
like this, he's exactly right. Like for some reason, game companies run in fear of emulation when they should really be searching like ways to do it legally and all that stuff. Like game preservation is
Mhm.
important. Like I probably buy more games than anyone you guys know. Like I buy a fair amount, but I also have no shame about pirating and emulating stuff.
I mean, yeah, if you look at stuff like the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, why
Right.
would you be afraid of pirating? Because these companies sure as hell
I
don't
Yeah.
think
care.
emulation is important. Like even like emulating games that are easily accessible nowadays, like it's fun to see like the changes and whatnot. So I think instead of running from it, finding a legal solution is solid because I would totally do a legal way if there was one. So good for them.
Yeah. Legal, accessible, cheap.
Yeah.
You can look at it as we can re-release it every 5 years for $60, or we can make it accessible for
Yeah.
$5 whenever you want it and lower that barrier to entry and give people historical perspective,
I mean, obviously, there's things like licensing in the way, which would
Mhm.
sucks. But I don't see what's wrong with like saying like pay $5 and have access to a bunch of shitty SNES games that you will never ever play. Why not? Because no one's gonna buy them for like $9 a piece or whatever if they were to release them. So why not license these? They're annoying. So something like that would never happen.
Well, Phil is talking the
Talking the
talk.
talk. Let's.
We'll see over the next few years if he can walk
I
the
would
walk.
be a big fan. I've heard that they recently expanded the Xbox backwards compatibility stuff. They added 70, I think,
Mhm.
new games as well as frame rate boosters for 40 of them. I think this is great. It adds some new life in the old games, but also like adding all like a bunch of stuff to their catalog is also nice. Because like I went on a little shopping spree when they announced new games. Like, all right, buying a bunch of old Xbox stuff, like Munch's Odyssey, the original version, instead of like the remastered one. You can just buy it. It's pretty cool. They also said that is the end of it though, so we will see if that sticks. So I hope not, because there's some stuff I'd like to see brought back, namely Sonic 06. I have to emulate that still, so
Well, like Justin said, Xbox has the weakest
it
back
sure
catalog,
does.
so they're probably digging pretty
They
deep
are,
already.
but Jet Set Radio Future is still not there, which is very baffling. It is locked to the original Xbox. I know they're bitches. That's Sega. Get it together, Sega.
Put this on your radar. Risk of Rain 2 DLC announced. Survivors of the Void is up on stream and ready to wishlist. I remain super interested in this game. I finally beat the
Hmm.
story a couple of months ago with a buddy of mine, and this remains a very comfy game to just go back to and zone out and play. So I'm super glad that they are successful enough for DLC.
I bought it back when
Mhm.
you were talking about it, and I have not played it.
Our other brother plays it without us, so maybe get him.
But I've always felt it looked interesting. So it's nice that I don't know, it's getting more support.
Yeah. I love pretty much everything about that game. So I'm
I like the low poly.
ready to see what they do next. Yeah, I love the low poly. I mean, I think that Risk of Rain 2 is one of the biggest reasons that I started trying to learn that kind of stuff. So
Well, this isn't exactly a low poly point, but does anyone else kind of think that like graphics look the best in the PS2, Xbox, GameCube era? Like I find that visual style the most appeasing.
Only on the GameCube.
I think
That's just bias there.
it's. I mean, I tend to like style over like era. You know, I think that's really hard to quantify like in an era, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Mega Man Legends remains my favorite game
that's
of all
PS1
time.
game.
Yeah, and it has a beautiful art style that
It
holds
does hold
up.
up, especially compared to other things on the PS1.
Or Front Mission 3, you know, beautiful looking game.
Well, I'm with you. I've always been kind of an art style over like visual fidelity person, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because the industry is totally the opposite.
What, you don't think Horizon Zero Dawn, New Horizons 2 Zero is not the most beautiful game
No,
ever? Despite the water reflections.
it's very realistic and pretty looking, but give me like Persona
Hmm.
5 before that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
or
Give me some more Mega
or
Man
Wind
Legends.
Waker. Wind Waker still looks better than most games today, and that's a
Yeah.
GameCube game, so
Breath of the Wild
it
looks great.
does.
And that's on the
Breath
Switch
of the
of all
Wild looks
things.
fantastic. Well, it could certainly run better, but it looks amazing. So, I don't know. I prefer that approach as opposed to we were just praising Forza. But I prefer that to Forza's everything looks crazy realistic.
Well, that stuff ages worse.
Yeah.
These mind bending graphics. I remember when the 360 first came out, and something like, I don't know. Let's go with the Call of Duty at the time. I remember Call of Duty 2 looked real nice on the 360. But if I were to go back and play it now, I would just, I think, be disgusted.
I always kind of think of that like I think it's like Ultra Game Player magazine that has like an Unreal Engine photo on the cover. It says, "Yes, this is real graphics," and it's like this
Yeah.
disgusting looking 1996 render of some shooter.
Probably has 30 tries
Like it
altogether.
looks like total shit, but they said like this is
Hmm.
real graphics in all earnesty, so it's very funny.
I know what cover you're referring to. I think it looks good in a stylized
Right.
way.
But I mean, if you if you look back at it though, it's just very
But it's so like crude and primitive by the capabilities
it's
of
like cave
today.
paintings, yeah.
Yeah. It's like those old silent movies where the train's coming to the
Yeah, they're
screen
running away.
and people like ran out of the theater in
So
fear.
realistic. Like their demons are coming from my PlayStation. They're attacking. Uh,
Or the first Bugs Bunny cartoons where people were like literally choking because they were
oh
laughing
yeah.
so hard that a rabbit was
Oh
talking.
yeah. Or they were like stupefied like when I don't know, the Roadrunner would paint something and the Wile E. Coyote would run into it. Just dumb shit.
And next on the list, Rancher Bros. We're
We're
going home.
coming home.
Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX for PC, iOS, and Switch,
Pretty
baby.
cool that Monster Rancher's coming back.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. The whole appeal of the game is destroyed by modern technology. I can't put a disc in my iPad.
Well, let me get to the whole like appeal of Monster Rancher originally was each disc contains a unique monster. So that was kind of cool. Like you put
Mhm.
in your Wu Tang CD, you get a different album. Like
And to be
Spin the
fair,
disc, take a risk.
you mean by Wu Tang CD, Derek? You mean your Britney Spears
obviously, I'm
album?
not talking about myself here. I'm just using that as a example.
Do you think the kind of people who listen to Wu Tang played Monster Rancher 1 and 2?
Well, Ryan is like
You never
plays
know.
more games than probably you do, and he listens to Wu Tang.
Does he play Monster Rancher?
Probably would. I
Don't ask him.
I will, but I mean the way it worked on GBA, which is the one I had the most experience with because I got really addicted to it one day, and then I never played it again. Was you put in like a numeric codes and you got monsters, or you put in passwords. Well,
Alphanumeric.
yeah, well, yeah,
Well, the way the new one works is you select a song
you
and
select the
that
song.
generates the monster. So instead of a
They have
disc,
like a
How does that work
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Switch? So
Well, it's like
you just
they
pick
have
it from a list. You don't
oh,
yeah. So you don't need the MP3. Which so I'm happy with that. I think that that's a similarly opaque and mysterious.
Yeah, but are you limited somehow? Like you get like one song pick per day or something?
Who
Because I mean,
knows?
obviously, if I
Yeah,
just go
who
through the
knows?
list and like, oh, hey, they discovered that "I Will Always Love You" has the best Suezo, you know, obviously everybody's gonna go pick that song.
Of course.
If you want a net deck, there's nothing stopping you. But if you just want to play the game,
I don't. I
why not?
don't think these games are
The
good.
best Mochi comes in killing the name of.
Monster Rancher is like the most, to me, of all the Pokemon offshoots that came in that era. It's the one that is just the worst.
Nah, it's Monster Rancher.
It's
Oh,
worse than
please.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Monster Rancher is like hardcore monster raising. It reminds me of Chow's on
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2. Like just a fully.
Yes, the most hardcore of monster raising, the Chow Guard.
You should play the Chow Garden. There's a lot to it.
I will not play the Chow Garden.
It has more to do with like raising them and putting them through training activities.
We
and
all know
stuff.
Digimon World 1 is the ultimate monster trainer.
Oh, that is true. And you better believe that's
Because
on my
it
to-do
teaches
list.
you a valuable lesson. Doesn't matter how much work you put in. At the end of the day, you're just going to get a freaking Goemon and just be happy with it. That's right. At the end of the day, life is just shit and being shit on.
You're right.
Yeah,
But
that game was alright.
I am happy that it is coming. I will
Yes, me
reward
too.
them with a purchase, even if it's shitty.
Oh yeah? Well, I had a dream that I bought that Taiko Drum Master game on the Switch.
I have that.
But I didn't have the actual drum pad, so I put 3 pillows on a table and thought I could
Well,
emulate it.
I don't have a drum pad, but I have that game.
It worked in my dream.
It's fun. It's a simple button pressing game. I should get bongos because you can connect those. Yeah, you can connect those to Dolphin and play like authentic. So I ought to get bongos.
You want to play authentic Donkey Konga 2?
Yeah, I want to play the ABCs.
I think Japan got 3 Donkey
and
Konga games, actually.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and what other?
No. I think Japan got more Donkey Konga than we did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think because for some reason it didn't really take off in the US.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. As I said, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is on Donkey Konga 1. I think that's probably why it didn't take off.
Well, Donkey Konga 2 had all the good Charlotte music.
Oh, yeah? Oh, they had the anthem?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the perfect song. So I guess we'll lead into Cheston's little game of the week.
Game of the week? Why, my good sir, don't you know what week it is?
What week is it?
It's the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh, my goodness.
That's right. And Joseph Robino Biden isn't the only one who can pardon turkeys.
Oh, I see.
Because I've got 4 turkeys right here. And we're all going to decide whether or not we pardon them or we pluck them and eat them live in front of our audience. Well, with that prelude out of the way, I'm going to bring the first turkey in. Come on in, buddy. This turkey's named Bobby Kotick. Say hi to Bobby.
Hello, Bobby.
Bobby is named after the real person, Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision Blizzard. And he said this week, basically, in response to all the criticism, in response to all the people, including his own employees who think he needs to step down, he said that if they don't believe that he is committed to changing, then they don't really understand how important change is to him. So, Setzer, should we pardon Bobby Kotick or pluck him and devour him?
I'm gonna say pluck immediately. Not just pluck. Send this one straight to hell.
So, do we get to eat him before he goes to hell?
No, this one's getting
Okay.
scorched alive. Didn't they just yesterday or the day before that put out another press release where they're like, actually, the no tolerance policy does not apply to Bobby Kotick in particular?
I mean, that seems like something that would happen in our current dystopia. So, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to say the only change Bobby Kotick cares about is pocket change. Like, if it's something cost him like 50 cents, he might do something, but he doesn't give a shit about anything but money. So
pluck?
Oh, he's being plucked all day.
All right, buddy, you're done.
It's going
Take him out.
Going right to the fryers.
Well, to hell, actually.
Well, either way.
Do we still have that hole to hell in the back?
Yeah,
maybe. Just put him in there. Okay.
Yep.
He's gone.
Fallen Wonderworld's
Yeah,
still back
no,
there.
yeah, it is. We're saving that one. That's going to be good eating. All right. Well, next up is Ilka? Question mark. The developers of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and the other one. They remade Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and in the interest of being as authentic as possible, the main game has no fire Pokemon except for the human glue stick that is Ponyta.
Ponyta sucks.
Except for in the special underground area, you can find some fire Pokemon to aid you in your journey, but I will add, because it matters to me, that they don't always go in your Pokedex, because some of them are only in the National Dex and not the Sinnoh version of the Dex. So if you're going there before you beat the game, you might be getting some uncharted Pokemon. Derek, pluck or pardon?
I gotta give him a partner for this. I mean, that's kind of a
Yeah.
little bit of a
Very diplomatic of you.
kind of a little bit of a nitpick there. I gotta be honest. Like they don't show up in the national decks. Like that's how it works in every other Pokemon game. Like if you got traded something that was not in the Gen 6 decks before you get the national decks, it doesn't show up there either.
Well, I'm gonna jump in and say that they should be plucked because I didn't realize that was a thing in the past, and I don't think it should be. You should not be able to get anything that does not go in your Pokedex.
Well, it does eventually. It's just like
Yeah, eventually,
yeah.
but it should be instantaneous.
Nah, that's okay.
Nope.
So you want to start with the National Dex?
No, I want to start with the Sinnoh Dex and not be able to get anything outside of it until the end of the game.
No way. That's the worst.
You
of
see
both
like a
worlds.
mysterious monster, like, oh, you can't catch this. You don't have the right book. I think that's silly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
That's a waste of time.
well, you're
whatever, man.
it's like your opinion, bro. No, I mean, like, look, I don't know, like, their solution to give you a fire Pokemon. I think the only other one you can get is Magby, which I don't really like Magmar either.
Only in Pearl.
Yeah, only in Pearl.
Only in
Well, I
Pearl.
can trade it over, but
I can get Elekid.
I don't like Chimchar. That's the problem. So like all the fire.
Oh
types
yes,
suck.
I think we all agree that all Pokemon monkeys are bad.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I like
Mhm.
Primeape.
I can't think of one that I like. Pansage, Panseer, Panpour, all terrible.
I like Primeape. I like that one.
Do you like Grookey?
I like that Gorilla one. Yeah, that's cool.
Gorilla Boom?
Yeah,
The one that plays the drums?
because the drums are cool. There was another one that one that Ash had in the anime forever.
Charmander?
No, it's got like a hand for a tail. Apom.
Mankey?
There we go.
Oh, Apom.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Apom is okay.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Apom's alright.
But outside of that, though, monkeys kind of suck. I'm
Yeah.
like Frieza.
Okay,
no
so-
monkeys.
So you all have pardoned this turkey, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're a little harsh
Alright,
on this
well,
one.
Off to a little farm in scenic the Kansai region of Japan, where they will let him live out his days. All right, next. Oh, but certainly not least, this one is named, weirdly enough, Rockstar Studios. So this little turkey here, Rockstar, named after the game developer who recently allowed for a mobile developer named Grove Street Games to just take a giant, massive, unhindered shit all over the legacy of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy by releasing new versions that are pretty bad by most measures, if not all measures. But don't worry, they are bringing the classic versions back to PC after delisting them. Is that enough for you, Setzer, to pardon them? Or are they pluck worthy?
Pluck. No hesitation, pluck. I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game. I don't really care about Grand Theft Auto games, but I think, I understand that they're really important to a lot of people, and
Donors mostly.
to hype them up and then shit them out is inexcusably greedy. So, pluck.
Well, let me say that Rockstar is very fortunate that Cheston was sick last week because this would have been all we talked about. I think that was all in the news.
I played their game while I was sick.
Yes, well, it probably just made you sicker.
Didn't make me feel better.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like I look at the Grand Theft Auto trilogy on PS2 as some of the most important games of all time. They kind of like helped create and shift a genre. So if you're going to remaster / remake, because that's kind of what this was pitched as at first, kind of like a remake, you have to like put in actual work and make it worth doing. If you were to gussy up Mario Brothers 1, would Nintendo just put out a half-ass remake of it? I don't think they would. So that's kind of fucked up they did that in the first place. But also, like, removing the originals off the market so you can't even see what they were like in the first place, that was stupid. And only restoring them to the PC, that's also not good because they were all three were on the PlayStation Store. You could buy all of them, and you still can't, and that's ridiculous. This whole thing is reeks of incompetence. I remember, I think Rockstar was shitting on CD Projekt Red last year for Cyberpunk stuff. And to me, this is way worse than that because at least Cyberpunk's a new game. Like, these are ancient video games that have no excuse not to be running perfectly on everything they're released on.
Yeah, the original games look pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't take much to like make them function better.
Honestly, if they had just like put in a PS2 emulator and just like said like let's just turn the resolution up, that would have been preferable to what we got.
Yes, it is very hitchy, very jittery. I will say pluck, because they deserve to be eaten, and they are so big with all the Grand Theft Auto 5 money that they will sustain us through the holidays.
That's true. Like, they have more money than God. Like, how are they not affording every single licensed song? Like, I get that licensed music is expensive, but that's part of these games. Like, just pay the money. I know it's easy for me to say, but they make probably enough in GT Online in a single day to afford that stuff. So,
Probably.
So I just think this is lazy and incompetent and everything bad.
I agree. Everything bad. All right. Well, off to the butcher for you, Rockstar. And let's bring in the last victim, perhaps. This is from the Take-Two family as well. This is 2K Games. Say hi to 2K Games.
Hello.
Yeah, I know you're familiar with this one.
I love them.
You've been eyeing this one for years. Well, 2K Games is hard at work, they say, on the newest WWE video game, which I think is going to be called WWE 2K22, though it's releasing in the year 2022, which goes against all of their history, but, whatever. Okay. That's how it goes.
That's how baseball games work.
So, yes, it is. It is, but that makes more sense. But anyways, well, it doesn't make sense for wrestling games. So, whatever. But the point is, they came out this week and they said, alongside the usual engine upgrades, which is always nebulous and always meaningless, actually, they said that the new game will have your most requested feature, Derek. They will have the GM mode, the mode where you can draft your own roster of wrestlers and create your own fantasy version of WWE programming. So, Derek, because I'm sure out of lack of interest, Setzer has no opinion on this, I'm going to ask you, Derek, pardon or pluck?
Oh, boy. Well, Setzer has the right answer right away.
What did he say?
He said pluck.
Well, he just wants to eat, man.
Yeah, he does want to eat.
Look at him. He's famished.
No, I just don't want to hear any more about wrestling.
Fair enough.
Well, I won't be long. All I'd say is like about time.
In the beginning.
People have been waiting for this for like a decade. And I think they're only bringing it back because there might be competition now in the video game sphere. So they're like, oh, fuck. And people hate us, so we better get some goodwill, so we're putting it in. Unfortunately, this comes at the time when I have the least interest in WWE I've ever had, ever. Including the years where you absolutely didn't watch it. Yes, I not only do I not watch it, I also have like no interest in it. Like, they fire pretty much everybody. So like anybody like most of my roster would be people I'd have to download, and I think created wrestlers often look shitty, even like when the good ones look bad too. So it's just not the same, you know. I have been on record and said that I will buy their dumb game if they put a GM mode in. So I'm kind of, put to the fire here because I do want to see if it's well implemented. Because if it plays like the old ones, I'm way into it. But I just don't know. Why would I trust 2K? 2K has never done anything right ever. Like they've blundered their way through every one of these games. So buying it on blind faith is a foolish idea. Foolish. So are you plucking them or not? I mean, I've got to pluck them. I look at this as a half-ass move. Like, I have no reason to believe this is going to be implemented well. I think this is just done to compete. I'm going to give the famous in the middle position and say that I will grant them a stay of execution. Oh boy. In so much as this is their shot. If delaying the game, taking a year off, and adding in a new mode that we've been asking for years are not enough to right this ship, then they are too far gone to be saved.
and they should be plucked and eaten for every Thanksgiving meal from here till the end of time. So that's my position.
I agree with that.
They've got one shot.
Do not miss your chance to go. Opportunity is something.
Yes. And if it comes out in March, which is famously when you dump out games that you want to get in before the fiscal year ends, if it comes out in March and totally sucks, we will execute this turkey live on air.
Since it's a state of execution, does it not get anything since we're split and Setzer's vote doesn't count?
Well, Setzer said pluck, so I think we have to eat it anyways.
Okay, well, all right.
So I'll breed a new turkey in the meantime and name it 2K Games, and then we can figure out what to do.
All right.
From there. Well, that's all the turkey I have. We butchered all but one. So little Ilka, off to live in the Kansai region. Everybody else, either going to hell or being eaten, and filling us up with holiday warmth.
We're saving that execution for Arceus whenever that comes out. Whenever Game Freak shits out another game that we're told is really good. But
that's gonna be interesting.
That one's gonna be spicy.
That is gonna be an interesting turkey right
there.
But
I personally had no doubts about this one. This one looked like what I wanted it to be from the go. So
yeah, I know we're very against the grain when it comes to the Pokemon series.
Yes.
I have nothing in common with. I was in favor of the what was it? The Dexit. I was in favor of culling the Pokedex.
Oh, I mean, me too. There's a lot of useless entries. So
against the
grain. Can't follow.
I don't want no Clefly in my games, even though that's one of the ones that made the cut.
Mr. Mime can get bent.
Oh, he also made the cut, unfortunately.
I know. Dexit didn't produce any of the results I wanted because Corsola's still around.
I think we supported Dexit in theory, but the reason they did it was not why we wanted it. They did it out of...
Yeah, that wasn't why I wanted it. It wasn't... But I wanted it for balance.
They did it because they're lazy, but the real reason is that there was too many fillers in there. Anyway, that'll do it for us this week. You can reach us on Twitter, alltodaypod, or on email, alltodaypodcast@gmail.com. This is Derek.
I'm Setzer.
And Chest.
And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Adios.
See you later.